Hello everyone, and welcome to the first online lecture summary for PHL100 Logic. Since our last class on Thursday, Australia has gone into lockdown, so I'm summarizing this lecture from my room. So I'll provide a short summary in this video, and I'll continue to upload videos on the lecture content throughout the rest of the semester. Um, this week's readings, we are looking at the section 7, the distribution of terms, and particularly pages 163 through to 172. But this video would really just cover pages 163 to 165. So if you have that open in front of you, that would be great. I'm not going to cover a huge amount of content, but the material is very technical, so we have to cover it in some detail. And it is crucial for having a thorough understanding of the foundations of syllogistic and deductive logic. So I like to. So this section, it looks at the issue of distribution in relation to categorical claims. So what this means is we'll be looking at what it means to say a term in a claim or proposition is distributed or undistributed, and what the distribution patterns of the four standard claims A, E, I, O, R. So valid syllogisms will distribute the middle term. If the term is distributed in a conclusion, then it must be distributed in the corresponding premise. So what that means is we'll unpack that as we go along, and also discuss this in a bit more detail online on Thursday morning. If everyone can log in Thursday morning, that would be great. Okay, so what is a distribution, and what does it mean? Basically, a term is distributed if all members of that class are referred to. So there are four kinds of statements that we're looking at: A, E, I, and O statements. This is on page 164. So A statements of the form OSRP, these statements distribute the subject. Remember last week how we looked at subject and predicate? So this is when we refer to here S and P refers to subject and predicate from the previous lecture. E statements of the form no S R P, so distribute subject and predicate. I statements take the form some S R P, and they I statements do not distribute any terms. O statements in the form of some S are not P distribute predicates only. So why does this matter? Well, because we need to be sure that we are referring to all members of a particular class. Distribution is a tool to enable us to draw valid conclusions from the premise in syllogistic deductions. So So here, let me summarize provide a summary of the distribution of the standard claims. Remember that the distribution pattern is a formal feature of claims. In other words, it doesn't matter what the terms are that are being used. The pattern of the distribution is what's the same. So we're concerned with the logical structure here. So this is part of the structural architecture that we were talking about in a lecture last week. So for all A claims, S subject is distributed, but P is undistributed. For all E claims, both S and P are distributed. For all I claims, neither S nor P are distributed. And for all O claims, S is undistributed, but P is distributed. I hope that helps to provide some insight into what we mean by distributed and undistributed terms, and their role in specifying the validity of a particular syllogistic deduction. There's some examples also in that section. I think as a good exercise, it would be great if you could come up with an example of an A sentence, an E sentence, an I sentence, and an O sentence, and see if you can trace the distributed and undistributed terms in that, as in that deduction, and we will go through that a bit more on Thursday morning. So just remember, be online on Teams Thursday morning, and we can start to really unpack this a bit more by going through some concrete examples together. Thank you for your attention. This is the first video. Many more will be coming throughout the week and the coming weeks. Generally, I like to keep my videos quite short, 10 usually no more than 10 minutes per video, because of the time it takes to upload videos, and also the time it takes to prepare them as well. Thank you, and see you shortly.